In the world of no accountability that we live in today, everyone blames their bad behaviors on something. But not only that, people excuse their bad habits and blame it on things like emotional trauma, zodiac signs, upbringing, or any other thing but themselves. Now, the main question is, why do some of us keep making excuses for our bad behaviors? Why are people suddenly okay with nasty attitudes in the name of, that's just how I am? Why are we not speaking up more often? And most importantly, why do we get offended when people point this out? If this video offends you, you need to look inward. Some things I'm going to be discussing today, I am equally guilty of. And I believe that all of us should be open to learning and unlearning always. So, as your online big sis, I'm always here to tell you the truth. Welcome back to my channel, guys. Nelo here with a very beautiful face. You guys already know, okay? So today's conversation is one that I've been wanting to have for a very long time because it is something I see play out always in this country, in this world. Obviously, this country because I live here, okay? I see this play out all the time. Sometimes when I'm outside in the real world experiencing life, I also see these things happening. The issue of blaming everything else and everyone else for our actions other than blaming ourselves or other than looking inwards and finding out why said actions or said habits exist in the first place. Let me use one example that everybody can relate to right now. For example, nobody in the history of this world was born an armed robber, right? Nobody was born a thief. It's a habit that we started and cultivated and it kept growing. And then as an adult or whenever it happens, you become a full-blown armed robber. Now, I'm sure we can all agree on this. But then why is it now hard for us to agree that some other habits that we exhibit now as adults, we picked up along the way and we were not born that way? You know this excuse of, that's how I've always been. No, you have not always been that way. Mind you, I'm also talking to myself here. Now that I'm an adult, I think back to so many things and I realized that every habit I have now, there was a reason for it. There's a reason I am the way that I am. Obviously, I understand genetics and all those things. There are some things that we are born with. Like I say it to my daughter, there are things I didn't teach her. There are ways that she behaves that you can't just learn from somebody else. It has to have been there, okay, all this while. We get that. That's not what I'm talking about. Even though we'll still get to that, I'll expand on that a bit later. But that aside, a lot of habits that we have now, we picked up along the way. And over the years, they become our character. Like a lot of the traits we have, they are not follow come. There was no rule book when we were born to say girls are supposed to behave like this and men are supposed to behave like this. The society you find yourself inside will help to shape the kind of woman you become and the kind of man you become. Let's use cooking as an example. This one, everybody can relate because we all know the arguments surrounding cooking, right? In Nigeria, women do a lot of the cooking, they're taking care of the home, and then men do more of the like providing and securing the family, like protecting the family. All these things are because of the environment we find ourselves inside. For example, there are people like Oyibo people that will argue with you from now to the day they die that a family should work based on like 50-50 on everything. And you cannot say they're wrong because it is also the environment they grew up in. They probably saw their mom providing 50, their dad 50, and they shared everything equally 50-50, caretaking, protecting, providing, cleaning, whatever it is. You cannot argue with that person. Now, one thing I see happening a lot is when these things favor us, it is easy for us to accept it. But when it doesn't favor us, then it becomes, that's how it's supposed to be, that's how I am. And I'm now going to personalize it, right? For example, I've seen people with very nasty attitudes. Like when I mean nasty attitudes, let's even use Hannah from Love is Blind as an example, because I don't know if some of you watch Love is Blind. The babe is nasty. Now, we're still talking of Hannah, but we're also talking of like people in general, right? Every opportunity you get, you put people down. People cannot confide in you. People cannot talk to you because you're always snapping. And the one that makes me laugh a lot is that you say, oh, I'm just direct. Oh, I just say things as it is. But no, not really. You're not saying things as it is. You are saying things as you feel. There's a huge difference, right? For example, I can see this blue, there's something blue in front of me. I can not like this blue, and I can actually state, this blue paper, why does blue just look so stupid? Like, blue is so stupid, blue doesn't have sense, blue is this and that and that. You've gone out of your way to put blue down or out of your way to say how you truly feel about blue. And this goes further than just stating facts. All of you that used to do this, I'm talking to you right now. Because I actually fall into the category of people that are outspoken outspoken and people that will speak their mind, but that is not an excuse to be rude to everybody you talk to. I mean, I'm not a rude person. I'm a very sweet babe. As outspoken as I am, as direct as I want to be, I've grown to realize that you don't need to be stupid, you don't need to be wicked, you don't need to be mean to like pass your point across. So that's one behavior I've been seeing online lately that people are excusing. Oh, it's just how I am. Oh, I'm just direct. Oh, I'm just this. I'm just outspoken. No, you're not. You are not. You don't know how to talk. You don't have common home training. That's what you don't have. You are lacking home training. Your parents did not teach you. In fact, your parents failed you. And now you're trying to force us to accept the fact that your parents failed you. But no, we are refusing to accept it. We refuse to accept it. You're rude and you should work on your nasty ass behavior, okay? If you're that person I'm talking to, please just collect it and work on yourself. Now, let's move on to another example. Let's talk about men a little bit, okay? Toxic masculinity. That is one thing that when I hear men excusing, I'm like, who raised you? Seriously, I ask this question a lot. Who raised you? I'm also going back to Love is Blind because is it Alex that is his name? There was somebody that was like that on Love is Blind and he kept, see, let me tell you, this guy will talk and talk and talk about himself, about how he deserves respect, how he felt disrespected, blah, 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 blah. And then when the woman is trying to explain to you what actually happened, it's like, all I'm saying is I felt so disrespected as a man. A woman should never. I'm just like, oh my God, don't you guys get tired of all this bullshit? And then people like that will also say, oh, I say things as it is. No, you are not saying things as it is. You are saying things as you feel. In fact, even this video I'm making now is still me saying things as I feel. Some truths might be in what I'm saying or not at all. Please do not take my advice. Some truths might be in it. Some truths can be in it, but mixed with emotions. But we need to realize that a lot of times we lead with our emotions and not even facts. Okay, let me finish with toxic masculinity first. You know, when you ask some men, they'll be like, yeah, I like being an alpha male. I like being it. Okay, what does it mean to be an alpha male? They believe it's control. They believe it's just all the opposite of everything alpha male means and all the opposite of everything a man should be. Because probably they grew up in environments where they saw men behave like that, where they saw men that behave like that, even giving respect. That's another thing. Let me tell you guys, a lot of these bad behaviors are so condoned by the society that it kind of becomes the norm. And then when you're now trying to talk sense into people and tell people how these things should be, you become the crazy one. You become someone that don't have respect. I literally watched a video of a girl on Instagram the other day. Some people tagged me on that video that crossed her leg in public. And the men there were telling her that as a woman, she should not be crossing her leg in public where men are. Who is raising you people? Who is telling all this nonsense? Like, sometimes I just get so freaking tired. Now, let me tell you guys another one that is so common that we blame on. Oh, it's how I am. Oh, it's not right. Oh, see. You guys, a lot of people are guilty of this, especially here on YouTube. Now, I'm going to give a very good and sweet example. I put out a video recently, me and Uche, blah, blah, blah. And then, obviously, the video is a sweet video. You guys love the video. Yeah, we're not talking about that. It's just like one or two people. You know how it is, right? I read one or two comments. There was one particular one that when I read at first, I laughed because it's like, obvious that that person was coming from their own place, right? They were not trying to look at my situation. It was like, if it were my life, this is how this should feel. This is how this should be. I don't know how to explain it. We do this all the time, right? We think that because we are offended by something, that thing is wrong. I hate to break it to you. Being offended by anything, no matter what it is, does not mean the thing is wrong. You are the problem. It's part of what we're talking about. We have normalized feeling offended. Everybody is so offended by everything right now. It is crazy. Like any little thing you say or do online, somebody is offended. Like literally any little thing anyone says or does, someone must find it offensive. I can, talk to my assistant somehow or maybe shout or somebody's like feeling offensive, like, oh no, she's an adult, you shouldn't speak to her like that. Hello, that is just you feeling offended because you feel that thing should not be done a certain way. The fact that you're feeling offended, that doesn't mean that the situation is actually wrong or even right. It just simply means that you're offended. And it's happening a lot on social media now. I'm also guilty of this one, to be honest, because when I see some things, I'm just like, what kind of nonsense is this? This person don't get sense. But the difference is I don't go and disturb that person about it. I don't go and write like 2 pages on somebody's page about how whatever they did offended me so much that I just had to point it out and tell them. Do you guys realize that that is a mental problem? Like, that is actually a you problem that we've grown to normalize now. It's crazy what we normalize. And even with the whole cancel culture, do you guys realize that a lot of people we cancel, quote unquote, we are worse than, we behave worse than? But because their own is public, it's like peer pressure. It's still part of what I'm saying now. Like, it's now okay because one person is doing it, 2 people have done it, 10 people are joining, 100 people are joining. You just feel like you should join the majority and it just becomes a thing, but it is actually not a thing. A lot of people that we have cancelled, we are worse human beings than. I always tell people this. A lot of people, even talking about Tinubu, you people's president. I don't even like to talk about him in person because I like to attack each Nigerian personally because the wickedness I see every single day on the streets, trust me, Tinubu is not the one doing all of us personally. He's doing us generally, but we are doing each other personally. And these things have been normalized because, of course, who do we blame? The oga at the top. It's still back to what I'm saying. We always blame someone for our bad behavior. Like, I was watching a video. My husband actually sent me a video, like some market women, like all this, you go and, beg for something, and if they give you, you dash them money, all those kind of videos. And I was actually trying to excuse them. When my husband was like, see the way they've missed their luck. I was trying to excuse them. I was like, the sun is hot now. They're there hustling for their daily 1K. Somebody's there coming to beg them for something of 100 naira. Like, if you were yourself sitting under that sun, you will not give the person as well. But my husband made an important point. The issue is not that I did not give the person, is that your manner, your attitude, the way you reply, the way you talk, your body language, every other thing. Because treating people with kindness is now so rare. It is so rare now that we reward kindness. And I'm sure a lot of you understand what I mean. Especially living in Nigeria, when you get normal customer service, when people treat you normally the way that we should treat our fellow human beings, we feel the urge to reward them because we feel like they went out of their way. Because we are now so used to bad habit and bad behavior that when people act normally the way God intended us to act, we feel the urge to reward them because they are being normal. Seriously, if you exhibit anything I'm talking about, I'm not even going in depth, but you guys get what I'm trying to say, generally speaking. The world has grown to accept a lot of rubbish and turn those rubbish things into the norm. And the more we keep accepting this thing as the norm, the worse it becomes. We need to speak up when we see rubbish. When you see a spade, call a spade a spade. When your friend is just being a bitch for no reason, call her out and tell her she's being a bitch for no reason. Teach people to be kind. Tell people to be kind. You self, be kind. Let us just all be kind and normal and stop claiming, like Vegos are so outspoken. And people being outspoken and being rude is so different. Vegos are so outspoken. I say Leos don't give a shit. You are just an evil person. You're just an evil person. What do you mean you don't give a shit? We understand that we don't give a shit. There are things we don't give a shit about, but you cannot be a shitty person to your family and friends and to everybody around you. People cannot talk to you. People cannot, even mingle with you. People cannot just with you. And you're claiming, because I don't give a shit. I only care about my happiness. Once I'm happy, I don't care what every other person thinks. The world does not work that way. If everybody's thinking like that, we'll be on the streets killing each other. Because trust me, there are some people that I'm sure some of you cannot stand that you'll be happy to get rid of Abego. Or be happy to just live without. But that's not how the world works. We have to learn to coexist and try to be there for each other, live happily, and just be better people. We need to stop blaming behaviors on things like zodiac sign, I was born like that, it's just how I am, I've always been like that since I was small. You picked it up along the way. You were not born like that. You picked it up along the way. And another thing I quickly want to say, yes, like I initially mentioned, there are traits that we cannot help, right? For example, there are people with illnesses, with autism, ADHD, and all that good stuff, right? Even those people try to learn to, should I say, work with society. Do you understand? To blend with, so not blend per se, but to not stand out so much, because even they understand that there is something, say, wrong somewhere. So we tend to teach those people how to blend with us, for example. Why is it hard for us to then learn how to blend with other people, but it's easy for us to tell others that are uniquely different from us to try to blend with us? And then when they don't blend, it's something we make fun of them for. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? A lot of people we consider normal are actually the sick ones. And a lot of people we consider with all these issues, they're actually the normal ones. They're the ones putting in effort, trying their hardest so that society at large will not laugh at them them, make fun of them, and just treat them the way they don't want to be treated. Yes, again, I understand that some of these, apart from people with actual diagnosis, some of us also have traits that we believe we were born with. But as an adult, I don't like to excuse adults. As an adult, you know that this behavior is not good, right? You know that it's bad. Why are you still doing it? You can unlearn things. The same way we try to learn things now, the same way you learned all those bad habits, you can actually unlearn them as well. Nothing is permanent. There is no trait that you have now that you cannot unlearn. It might be difficult, but it definitely can be unlearned. So do not deceive yourself. What I'm trying to say is let's do better. Stop blaming Zodiac. Stop blaming your parents. Let's start story for another day. People that blame their bad behavior on their parents or daddy issues. Oh, I need therapy. I know this. You know it's wrong. Put in the effort. Anyways, a word is enough for the wise. I'm just going to leave it here. I just wanted to pass this. Like something just came into me today to just pass this message across. I don't want this video to be too long, but I hope you guys get my point. So let's continue this conversation in the comments, and I'll see you guys in the next one.